Hope you people are doing very well, and right now I just want to continue the same Python series. Today in this video I will going to be discuss about the lambda function. So before starting the lambda function, we just want to know what is the lambda function. Lambda function or anonymous function or the function without name, this function work faster than conventional function. That means the lambda function is more faster if you compare with the other function which I already discussed in the previous videos. And lambda function can take any number of the argument. This is a very key point. In earlier I discussed about the 2, 3, 4, 5 this kind of argument they can take, but in the lambda you can send as many as you can. If you want to send 10, 20, 30, 40 any kind of the argument, if you want to send, they can take it very easily. And lambda argument is expressed by the expressions. So in lambda there are two parts, one is the argument, another one is the expression. So these things, these theoretical things we can easily understand when I just run the program one by one. So let's start about the program. Our first program about the lambda, that is the lambda function to add two numbers. So in here I just take the f variable, and within f variable I just write down the lambda a is to a plus 1. I just run the program. Then I just pass in f, that is the 8. That means this 8 will be going to in this f, and this 8 will be go inside the lambda a. Then this 8 will be passed into 8 plus a, again the value is 8. So if I run that program and if I pass the 8 value, then 8 plus 8, that is the 16. Suppose if we want to change the value of the a, suppose I am just passing the 90, f is equal to 90. I am passing here this value, this 90 just go inside the f, then again the lambda a, the 90 value it comes inside this, and then the 90 plus 90 is equal to 180. So in this way lambda function is basically working. Then after that we just take the one variable add underscore 10 is equal to lambda x is to x plus 10. Then we just print out add underscore 10. We just call this variable, and inside that within purple first bracket we just pass the 5 value. This 5 will go inside this add 10, and this 5 will be just passed to the lambda x, and the x will be the, right now the value is 5. 5 plus 10, the value will be going to be output. It will go giving the output is 15. Suppose we are changing the value of the 10. That means right now this x value it changed 10 plus 10 is equal to 20. So let's run the program, then see the output that comes in 20. In this way we can change the x value. So we are not calling again and again the same function. We just pass the value directly, that value goes inside the lambda x, and then x value is changing automatically. So that's why this function is very much faster. Then lambda function to add two numbers. How we can do that? In here we use two variable. Multi is equal to, multi is the basically the variable name. Multi is equal to lambda a comma b is to 1 plus a, 1 plus b. In multi function we just passed 5 and 6 value. This 5 and 6 value it go inside directly within a and b. This 5 is basically a, this 6 is basically b. So if we do the operation, the plus operation or the summation operation, then 5 plus 6 is equal to basically the 11. So that's why they are giving the output, that is the 11. Suppose if I want to change the a value is 10 instead of using the 5, if I run that program, then the output it will go 10 plus 6. The a value is right now 10 plus b is equal to 6. Then if I run the program, then we can understand that the output that comes the 16. Now earlier we just learned that if we want to write down any function, then we have to write down in this way, like the def, then function name. We just take the one function name, that is the even, and within even we used the first bracket, and within first bracket a, that a is just passed inside that. Then we just run the function, and then we just write down the criteria, the if function, if a remainder 2 double is equal to 0, then return true. That means whatever the a value we just passed here, if it is divisible by 2, if it is divisible by 2 and give the output is 0, then in that case they are giving that output that will be true. So suppose I am just run the program, then I just passed the even, we just call this function even, we just call this function here and we just pass the 20. This 20 value directly go inside this a. Then they are checking the condition, if 20 is divisible by 2 is equal to 0. Yes, it is divisible by 0. So then after that they will return the true. So if I run that program, then we can easily understand this is the true value they are passing. If I am changing the value, instead of using the 20, I am just passing right now the 21. If I am passing the 21, then this 21 it goes inside this a. The 21 is not divisible by 2. A remainder 2 means it is not divisible by 2, or it is not giving the remainder 0. So that's why they are not giving any output here. If I am changing here, instead of using 21, I am just changing here, the value is right now 30. Basically 30 is divisible by 2. That in that case they are just giving the output, the return true, this true. They're just giving the output here. Now this same thing we can just write down in a different way. We are just taking the one variable that is the even. Even is equal to lambda a is to a divisible a remainder 2 double is equal to 0. Then we just pass the value, the even, within even value, that is the 10. If I am just passing the value, in that case this condition is true, so that's why they are giving the output is true. So if I change the value, instead of using the 10, if I am using the 11, let's see what is going to be happen here. So this condition is basically not true. That means that 11 is not divisible by 2, so that's why they are giving the output that is the false. In earlier it is not giving the false, it is giving nothing, because in earlier program we are just write down return is equal to true and we are not giving the option return is equal to false. So that's why if we are changing the 31 or the odd number, so in that case they are just not giving the output anything. They are, when we are just using the even number, so in that case they are giving the true output, they are returning the true. In here if you write down in this way, but in this case we are not returning any value, so that's why if the condition is true, so in that case they are giving the true, or if the condition is false, suppose I am just taking the example of the 11, so in that condition this 11 goes inside the lambda a. This 11 is not divisible by 2 and double is equal to 0, that means it is not divisible by 2, so that's why they are giving the output that is the false. Now we are passing the three variable. So def addition 1. Def addition 1 is basically the writing style of the any function in Python. Then we are just passing three value x, y and z, and then we are just returning what we are returning, x plus y plus z. It means that whatever the value we will just pass within x, y and z, after that they will just make it summation of these three value and they will return that output. So right now I just call the addition 1, that is the function, that is this function, this addition 1, and we just pass three value, 4, 3 and 2. 4 is just taken by x, 3 is taken by y and 2 is taken by z. And after that 4 plus 3 plus 2, the total output is 4 plus 3 is equal to 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. That's why they are giving the output that is the 9. The same thing we can write down in a different method. So we just take the variable, one is addition 2. We can take any name in the variable, is equal to lambda x, y, z. In lambda function, in earlier we just use the basic writing style of the any function, but in the lambda function it is very easy to write down. We just write down addition, we just take one variable and within one variable we just use the lambda x, y, z. These three values already passed out and is to x plus y plus z. Then we just called the addition 2, this addition 2, and we just passed three value 1, 2 and 3. Then after that what they are doing there, 1 plus 2 plus 3, that is equal to 6. So directly they are just passing this 6. So lambda is basically the more faster if you compare with the previous old method function writing. Now another function we just want to discuss about that, using lambda with map. Map is another function. What is map? The map function applies a given function to all items in an iterable like a list and return a map object which can be converted to a list. It means in the map function, whatever you just want to write down, you have to pass through a list. Otherwise, it will throw error. Let's see how the program is running here. We are just taking the variable that is numbers. Numbers is equal to, we just take the list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. This is basically list. We just passed this list. Then we just take another variable that is the squared is equal to, we just write down here map. This is basically the map function. And within first bracket, yellow first bracket, you can use the lambda x. We just pass x double star or double asterisk 2. That means that is basically the square. Square means whatever the value it will be there, it will be multiplied with the same value. 1 will be the multiply with 1, 2 will be multiplied with 2, 3 will be the 3, with the same number it will be going to be multiplied. And we just pass this number, this variable in here. So if we pass the number variable, within number we just keep this list 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. So it will take 1 first, then second 2, they will take third 3, and so on and so forth. And after that, when we just print out, we just print. So earlier we just discussed that the lambda function, lambda map function, it always gives the output through the list format. So we just write down the list here. Then we just give the output the squared. We just called here the squared. If I run that program, then they are taking this number, the 1, they are taking the first, then 1 into 1 is 1, then 2 into 2 is basically 4, then 3 into 3 is equal to 9, again 3 into 3 into 9, and 4 into 4 is equal to 16. In this way, they're just giving the output. But just remember one thing, that this output only in map function they are giving in the list format. So that's why we are using the list here. And this, you can see here, we are also seeing that the output is also kept inside the third bracket. That is basically the list format in the Python. So that is the key factor. Now we are going to be discuss about the different function, that is the filter function. In lambda with filter, how it works, we have to understand that one. The filter function constructs an iterator from elements of an iterable for which a function return true. How it works, we are just going to be discuss in this program. And number is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have just passed one list inside the number variable. Then we are just taking another variable, that is the even underscore number is equal to, we are just write down here the filter function. Filter lambda x is to x reminder 2 double is equal to 0, comma number. We just pass the number. We just pass this number. This numbers means this list. We are just passing one by one. Then all the number these will be passing through the lambda x, and they will checking one by one whether it is divisible by 2 or not. If it is divisible by 2, then how the output will going to be given, we can see if we just go further for the next program. We can see one by one. So we just run that program first. Then we just write down the print even number, this even number. We can see these are the filter object. We are not going to be directly get the answer directly. So we just get the output filter objects, because filter basically are objects. So that's why they are just giving the output, that is the filter object. Then after that, we are just checking the type even number. So this even number means this function, which kind of the type it is. We are checking that one. We just run the program. Then we can easily understand this is the filter. But guys, remember one thing, in earlier I just discussed about that the map function is always gives the output in list format. In this case, we are not going to get the output, because in the filter function also working same like the map function. So it gives the output in a list format. So if we run the print list within first bracket, in yellow first bracket, then we are just passing the even numbers, this variable, then we can run the program. Then all the values, all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are all values, whichever will be the divisible by the 2. Suppose 1 is not divisible by 2, 2 is divisible by 2, 4 is divisible by 2, and the 6 is divisible by 2. So these 2, 4 and 6 will be going to be given the output in here in a list format. So just remember the map and filter, both the functions in Lambda, they are working as a list format. Using Lambda for string manipulation. Convert a string to uppercase. How we can pass any kind of string and we can easily change in the upper or the lower case by calling the function. So in here we are just using the uppercase one variable and is equal to lambda s. Within s one variable we just use the s dot upper, and then we are using this function, upper function. Then we are just taking the print out, the print uppercase, we are just passing this we are just passing this variable inside here, and then within this variable I am just passing one string, that is the hello. Then if I run that program, then we can see that this hello is the small letter, and right now they are just changing, the lambda is just changing in the upper cases, so the output that gives this hello, all the characters are in the upper cases. That means capital HELLO. Reverse a string. How we can reverse this string? In earlier we just discussed in the string format. So if we want to reverse that one, so we are just taking the variable the reverse, then lambda s, we are just passing s, one list is passing here, the blank, the first one is the blank, is to blank, that means it starts from 0 till end. It means they will take the whole list, and -1, the last one is the condition, -1, that means basically it will go forward, go forward from the back side. Basically all the string that from that goes from left to right, but in here -1 basically they are doing from right to left in the backward directions. So then after that we are just write down the print reverse hello, that one word. Then if I just run the program, then we can easily understand there this hello, it goes inside the lambda s, and in this lambda s, this condition basically they are doing, they just reverse the string. So O L L E H, in this way they are giving the output from the backward direction. Using lambda for conditional expression. What is that? Check if a number is even or odd. Whether this number is even or odd, how we can check that one? We just write down the program even underscore odd underscore odd is equal to lambda x is equal to even if x is divisible by 2, that is equal to 0, else odd. So we just write down the program in this line. Then how we pass the number? Then we pass like the print even underscore or underscore odd. This is the variable name. This variable we are passing here there. Then we just passing one number, that is the 10. And when they are passing the 10, this 10 go inside that condition, and yeah, 10 is divisible by 2. So that's why they are giving the output that is the even, because we want this output that should be even. If I am passing the one odd number, suppose if I am passing the 5 that is not divisible by 2, if I run that program, we can see this is not divisible by 2, so they are just giving the output this odd here. Then x is equal to lambda a is to a plus 10. Again we just write down the print x, so we just pass the 5. This 5, it basically this value directly goes to the a value. Then 5, right now the a value is 5 plus 10. If I run that program, then we can see that output that comes 15. Now we just want to do the multiply. How we can do that? How we can do that? X is equal to lambda a comma b is to a into b. We are just passing the two values within lambda a and b. How we can do that? We just write down the print x 5 comma 6. That means 5 is the value of the a and 6 is the value of the b. Then they are doing the multiply operation, 5 into 6. That's why they are giving the output, that is the 30. Now we just want to take some user input. How we can do that in lambda? In here, so we just take one variable abc is equal to lambda is to input. Within first bracket we use please enter your name. So if I run that program, then they will take the user input. How we can do that? We take the another variable a is equal to abc, and we just use that that previous function in this abc in here, and then run that program. Then we can, and the system is asking for the user variable. Suppose my name is Pinaki, I am just taking the variable that is the Pinaki. Now if I run that program, now you can see your name is Pinaki. They are giving the name that is the Pinaki. How they are doing that? They are just doing the printout. Your name is, this is the string. It will going to be give the same writing here. You can change anything. And then this a value, basically this a value is passed this user input, this Pinaki. If you just want to change the another name, you can do that. If I'm just taking that PyData as a name, and after that if we just run the program, then you can easily see your name is PyData. Basically your name, that your name is within double inverted comma, that is the constant part, and the variable part, that is the a. So a is basically just passing the whatever the user input, this abc, whatever the user input, we are just taking it inside the lambda. That user input gives the output here. So that's it for today for the Lambda function of the Python. I believe this will help you to enrich your knowledge about the Python program. And in case is there any doubt, if you feel is there any kind of the problem you're facing to write down the program in the Lambda function, please feel free to keep in touch with me, and my contact number is 836-834-4962. And thank you so much guys. Wish you all the best.